Hi there. This would be your Faith Talk with Fiona, but for today I wanted to just do a mental health check in. How are you? It has been a hard day's night for many of us, and regardless of where you live in the world, you'd have to have been asleep maybe for the last 24 hours not to know the events that unfolded here in the capital of the United States. And I wanted to take a moment just to collectively give us permission to feel what we feel. I know that many of us might be feeling anxious, we might be concerned, maybe you're feeling apathetic, and that's okay. Um, there are emotions that we feel. A friend of mine says sometimes feelings are not facts, but sometimes feelings are facts. And so I wanted to just create the space for us to acknowledge our feelings in the moment. And often our feelings are what's on the surface, but if we take the time to sit with ourselves and be still for a moment, we'll acknowledge that there are some secondary emotions. So if you're feeling anxious, you may actually find that underneath that are feelings of confusion, of fear, of anger, and being able to identify those feelings and those emotions puts you on a path of being able to resolve them and getting clarity to resolve them. So I want to just say it's okay to feel what we're feeling, but I also wanted to point out two things. God is still on the throne, and nothing takes him by surprise. And as his children, we ought to be able to be in peace. The Bible says in Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3, you will keep him or her in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because she or he trusts in you. That's a promise that we can take to the bank, that God is on the throne. He has all power, all knowledge, and he knows the end from the beginning. And as his children, we can rest in peace because he will not leave us or forsake us. So, whatever is happening out there, we can just be still. And I say this not because I absolve us or myself of personal responsibility. Being a believer in God and his promises does not mean that we have a pie in the sky faith. It's very grounded in reality. So I face life with my eyes wide open. I see what's happening around, but I know the end from the beginning because I've read the book. I know that God is in control, and I know that there's a part that I can play, but there is also trust that I can put in God to work things out for our good and for my good. The second thing I wanted to say is that there is a biblical principle here at play of sowing and reaping. The Bible says that God will not be mocked. What a man sows, that also he shall reap. And we see this demonstrated in a very practical sense in agriculture. So you put a seed in the ground and you don't get back just one thing like one apple, or you don't get back just one ear of corn. You get a whole field. And so what we see here is that we have sown to the wind and we have reaped the whirlwind. Whatever spirit, whatever behaviors, whatever characteristics, whatever treatment you allow yourself to tolerate, to put up with, to give a pass to, know that the spirit's behaviors, the things that you allow in your life, you give them power. And you give them power to multiply, whether for good or bad, and you have to be willing to accept the consequence. And what we see here is that in a collective sense, we have allowed certain things to take precedence, to have power, and they have borne a woeful fruit that we all see played out in our news and on our news screens yesterday. I want to encourage us to be at peace. I want to encourage us to be mindful about what we allow ourselves to give power to. And I really want to just encourage us to make the right choices for ourselves and for what we allow into our lives. God is a God who will not be mocked. And there are things that we can see because we live in a three-dimensional physical realm, but there are things that we cannot see, but they are just as real or even more real. And we have to be very careful how we engage and how we live our lives, because those things that we do not see can have more power over us than the things that we do see. So I hope that those of us who are wise will listen to my words and understand what I'm sharing. Be a blessing to someone today, and I pray that you will know that you are loved by God, and and that you are the apple of His eye. Take care, and God bless.